In the last lesson, I explained why focusing on irrelevant details obscures the true drivers of a person's success: career capital. But the connection between career capital and a great career isn't always transparent. Why does the owner of a car dealership tend to make more money than a nurse or teacher? Why would most people struggle to make a living as an artist, but the guy who put a taxidermied shark in a tank is worth nearly $500 million? The basic answer of whether you'll have a great career can be understood in terms of the simple economic concept of supply and demand. Supply and demand thinking applied to your working life. All right, so let's start with demand. Economists draw a downward sloping curve to represent how much people want of something for a given price. All else being equal, fewer people will be willing or able to pay for something when the price is higher. Another way of thinking of this is that this curve represents the value that you offer to other people. In the job market, your career capital is valuable if people are willing to pay more for it. A higher value set of career capital would represent a curve shifted to the right. More people want someone with your career capital for any particular price. But demand isn't the whole story. Water is essential for life, diamonds are not. But water is cheap and diamond is expensive because the supply of water is plentiful and diamonds are rare. Similarly, the supply curve for your career can be envisioned as the amount of people who are willing to supply that career capital for a particular wage. As the price goes up, more people are willing to supply those skills, connections, reputation, and other assets that people want to buy. The supply curve can also be seen as a measure of the scarcity of your particular type of career capital. Teachers and nurses earn less than many dealership owners because there are more people who have the career assets to teach children or work as nurses than who own big lots that can sell a lot of cars. In a normal functioning market, price and quantity for a given product come to equal the intersection between the demand and the supply curves. In a career context, that means that the return to your career capital depends on both how much people value what you're able to do, as well as how many other people are capable of supplying it. This means that to have a good career position, you need assets that are both rare and valuable. This thinking applies beyond just how much money you make. The person who has a rare and valuable career asset can parlay that into higher income, of course, but those same assets also serve as a negotiating point for anything else you might want: vacation time, interesting projects, professional autonomy, and more. A career you love and a career that pays well may not always be the same thing, but they're both possible because of rare and valuable career capital. Now, as a mental model, I find supply and demand thinking incredibly useful, but it obviously ignores a lot of important factors in the real world. Price caps, monopsonistic employers, professional guilds restricting membership, and more all complicate this basic model. However, it's still a good baseline for thinking about the kind of career you can have. Building rare and valuable skills. So as I discussed earlier, skills are often the best starting point for building career capital. Reputation and connections tend to follow, not precede, excellent work, so it's usually best to start there. But this reframes the question of how to build a valuable career. How do you acquire rare and valuable skills? This was the opening question Cal and I posed ourselves when we first started building our course, Top Performer. So over the next 2 lessons, I'll share 2 of the major findings that we've had from working on this issue with thousands of students over nearly a decade. Meanwhile, we're getting set up for the next session starting soon. If you're interested in digging deep and building your career capital, I hope that you will join us for the next session. Just click the first link in the description below.